Most people focus on the moment everything changes, the asteroid impact, the volcanic eruptions, the climate shift, the extinction event. But the real story doesn't start there. It starts the day after. Today, we're not talking about the fire in the sky. We're talking about what happened when the dust began to settle, when sunlight faded, when plants stopped growing, when food chains quietly began to collapse. Today, we're looking at what really happens after food sources change, when attention fades, survival instincts take over, and long-term consequences quietly begin. This is the day after food sources changed. Let's start with the moment everyone remembers. 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid struck Earth near what is now the Yucatan Peninsula. The impact was catastrophic. Shockwaves, wildfires, tsunamis, ash clouds filling the sky. For dinosaurs and countless other species, this was an apocalyptic event. At the time, it wasn't about food, it was about survival. Large herbivores still had stored fat. Predators still had prey. For a little while, the ecosystems hadn't fully processed what just happened. And here's the key framing. At the time, this disruption didn't immediately mean starvation. Many animals likely survived the initial days and even weeks. The world was damaged, but not yet empty. The day after, things still look fine, or at least survivable. Some forests were still standing, some carcasses provided food for scavengers, some rivers still flowed. Short-term calm often follows massive disruption. The skies were darker, temperatures fluctuated, but life didn't instantly disappear. Large carnivores could feed on dead animals, herbivores could consume remaining vegetation. It may have even seemed manageable, and that's important, because extinction isn't always immediate. It can feel like adaptation at first. No judgment, no panic, just animals trying to continue. This is where the invisible shifts begin. The real problem wasn't the explosion, it was the sunlight. Dust and aerosols blocked the sun for months, possibly years. And without sunlight, photosynthesis slowed, plants stopped growing, forests began dying. And here's the critical shift. Food chains are pyramids. At the bottom, plants, above them, herbivores, above them, carnivores. When the base weakens, everything above it eventually collapses. Subtle behavior changes began. Herbivores had to travel farther for food. Migration patterns shifted, energy reserves depleted. Predators noticed prey populations thinning, competition intensified. Small compromises appeared, eating less nutritious plants, consuming unfamiliar species, risking new territories. None of it looked dramatic at first, but energy, the true currency of life, was running out, and ecosystems operate on energy flow. When that flow is interrupted, collapse becomes mathematical. The consequences don't arrive loudly, they arrive slowly. Weeks turned into months, months into years. Large herbivores needing vast amounts of vegetation daily struggled the most. A massive sauropod could require hundreds of kilograms of plant matter per day. Now imagine a world where plant growth drops dramatically. Carnivores then lose their food source. Scavengers find fewer carcasses. Even apex predators, once unstoppable, face starvation. It doesn't happen overnight. Nothing broke in a single moment. But energy shortages compound. Reproductive rates drop, juveniles fail to survive, populations thin quietly, and then millions of years of dominance end. Not in one explosion, but in slow biological arithmetic. Most species don't ignore problems, they simply don't see them yet. Dinosaurs weren't unintelligent, they were highly adapted to stable ecosystems. But evolution prepares species for patterns, not sudden global disruption. Cognitive bias exists in biology too. Species evolve for consistency. They rely on environmental predictability. When that predictability vanishes, adaptation takes generations. But this shift happened faster than evolution could respond. Overconfidence and dominance? Possibly. Process blindness? Absolutely. No species expects its food base to collapse globally, and large-bodied animals are especially vulnerable, because the bigger you are, the more energy you require. People and species with resilience don't judge survival by size or dominance. Who survived? Small mammals, bird ancestors, burrowing creatures, omnivores. What did they have in common? Flexibility, lower energy requirements, ability to eat varied diets, capacity to shelter underground, fewer calories needed per day. They weren't stronger, they were adaptable. If one food source vanished, they shifted. If daylight faded, they hid. If plants died, they consumed seeds, insects, anything available. The signal they monitored wasn't power, it was sustainability. They didn't try to dominate the new world, they survived it. The lesson isn't avoid change. The lesson is prepare for the day after. Ecosystems collapse when energy flow breaks. Whether you're a dinosaur, a species, or even a modern system, the question is the same. What happens if the base changes? The mindset shift is simple. Don't measure stability by how things look today. Measure it by what sustains you tomorrow. One long-term question to ask: if my primary resource disappears, what happens next? That's the real survival question. Most extinctions don't happen at the moment of impact. They happen in the weeks, months, and years that follow. The asteroid was dramatic, but the food collapse was decisive. This wasn't just about dinosaurs losing a battle. It was about ecosystems losing their foundation. If this changed how you think about extinction or survival, that's the goal. This is the day after, and next week we'll explore the day after the Ice Age ended. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring the world of Meet the Dinosaurs.